Saints Raphael, Nicholas, his deacon, and little Irene, and the Exorcism of Theodora. But first I want to tell you how my conversion took place. I had a dream concerning Saint Patrick of Ireland. Saint Patrick was a young man. He was stolen from England. He was the son of a patrician of the Roman Empire, hence his name Patrick, and he was taken to Ireland and as a slave to be a shepherd. And he was there for about 10 years. And in his isolation there, in the cave of where he kept his, he was, of course, trying to protect himself from the inclement weather. He was praying. At one point, he was so close to Christ that he was told by Christ to find where to find his ship to take him back to England and to his freedom. And he later went with the blessings of his parents to Rome, and he was trained, and he became the first bishop of Ireland. So I had a dream with him, and of course my dream was given to me by God, Christ. Then I had a dream with, it wasn't a dream, it was actually, I don't know what you would call it, it was really terrible. I had gone, it was the beginning of September, we had gone to a little church across the street, across from the Acropolis of Athens, the church where the priest, at that time he was a young deacon, the priest here on the left, Saint Raphael, when he was a young deacon, he was at the church of Saint Demetrius. And I went to light a candle before the baptism of this little girl. It was so hot, humid, sticky, early September afternoon. I said, I better go and light a candle now before everybody gets into this tiny little church and we have no room to breathe. So I went there and I saw the icon, this exact icon of Saint Nicholas. It was a full body icon of him. And I saw Saint Raphael. And I asked the lady who was taking care of the church, I said, what is the icon of Saint Raphael doing here? She says, didn't you know that when he was young, a young deacon, this was his church? I said, no, I didn't know that. And I had just finished reading a book on his life that was brought back from one of my aunts. She had 6 sons, and she kept on going to the island of Mytilene to pray to Saint Raphael to give each one of her sons a good wife. And she would do that every time. She would be coming from New York, going all the way to Mytilene by ship after she arrived in Athens, and to pray to Saint Raphael for a proper wife for each of her sons. And each of them has a wonderful wife, one better than the other. And anyway, she brought back this book, and I read it, and I didn't believe it. And it said that Saint Raphael could convert a person in 40 days. And I went up to his icon, and I said, in disbelief, I said, if you are a saint, make me a proper Christian. That's what my mind said to him in front of his icon, without believing, Well, in 40 days, I went for my first confession. And that's when I was healed of something the doctor didn't even know what I had. I couldn't even sleep from the pain. So that was the conversion, and it had to do with my hero of Christ, Saint Raphael of Mytilene. And definitely I, of course, believed in the book I read because I was one of the people that he did the same thing to within 40 days. Unbelievable. So this is a story. This is an icon of one of the past Easters that we had, because obviously this past Easter we didn't have service celebrations before Pascha. So what happened here? Saint Raphael and his he went to Mytilene to be a priest, and he had a deacon named Nicholas and Irene, and they were holy martyrs. They martyred. And having to do with an exorcism of a woman called Theodora this year, 2020. And I'll leave a link below for you for this. It's on the blog Demonologia. This is an article by Athena Pelidou, Department of History, Archaeology, and Social Anthropology, University of Thessaly in Volos, Greece. So she's a professor. And this is what she writes. During the winter of 2000, Theodora, 38, a housewife and mother of a 13-year-old daughter, having undergone psychiatric observation for 4 years and been diagnosed as suffering from depression, finally decided to have herself exorcised. It was her confessor, her father confessor, whom she had consulted for 5 years, who suggested it. During her treatment, it was a difficult case. The priest contacted the abbess of the St. Raphael convent in Mytilene, an important center for a pilgrimage. This is where my aunt went to pray to St. Raphael for his help, and she got it. So in order to ask her to pray for this woman, Theodora, 38-year-old housewife. The abbess soon came to the conclusion that the convent's 3 saints, St. Raphael, St. Nicholas, and St. Irene, could help to cure her soul. The personal diary kept by Theodora, to which she gave me access, this is again Athena Pelidou of the Department of History of the University of Thessaly in Greece. The personal diary kept by Theodora, which she gave me access, was a particularly interesting document as far as following the conflict between the different treatments as she experienced them was concerned. Her husband George always accompanied her to the island of Mytilene to the convent. January 2nd, 2000, this is according to the diary. Now, I won't go into the visions and things in her dreams. She says, I saw, because they're really disturbing, but having to do with all these pills that she took every day. But I'll go into what happened 6 months after the January of 2000. Now, for 6 months, a time of crisis, quote unquote, to quote the psychiatrist, Theodora's soul was weakened by the hard battles between the powers of God and the evil one. Her demonic possession was of long-standing duration, however, and even according to her, the principal cause of her illness. Theodora had been possessed by the devil since the age of 17, she said. When in the company of her friends, she had asked the spirit of her dead aunt to reveal to her who she would marry, even if her health problems did not manifest themselves until after her marriage and the death of her first child at 4 months of age. She blamed her illness on this incident from her youth. In addition, the priest who regularly confessed her told her that her subsequent interest in astrology had exacerbated the situation. Theodora's violent reactions to his prayers and exorcisms confirmed his suspicions. And who knows what else she dealt with. Now, we must now continue with Theodora's views since she agreed to be healed by the church. The domination of evil began to be broken and she came closer to the saints, and by the grace of God, the latter were able to enter into her psyche in order to rid her of Satan and install good and consequently peace and health. And during the constant agonizing struggle between the 3 saints, believed by Theodora to be her protectors, and the evil spirit taking her pills became a decisive factor. Linked to the evil powers, the medicine assumed a symbolic value in that its ingestion signaled the presence of the evil spirit as far as the patient was concerned. The saints stole the pills, threw them away, and this is all in her dreams, repeatedly, and burned them, and the evil one was, on the other hand, the one who struggled to make her take her medicine, competing not only with the saints but also the psychiatrist, since he had taken over the act of prescribing, robbing of her body and soul, and subjected to conflicts between the superior powers, that's including the doctor. Theodora no longer had any control over the situation. She did not want to take the pills, vomiting and claiming that her system did not allow her to take them. But since she was in the clutches of the evil one, she took them but at the wrong intervals. First of all, her account shows the extent of her torment with regard to the question of her medication. She saw the latter as being associated with the evil one and disease rather than as a remedy. So you can understand her situation. She did not manage to convince her doctors to minimize doses. She talked of apparitions of saints and the evil one, and the more he prescribed drugs in order to reduce her delirium or her crisis. After this troubled period, she once again found confidence in her doctor and the prescribed treatment, despite various visits to St. Raphael convent in Mytilene to pray. Now, the success of the exorcism does not depend solely on reciting and understanding certain prayers. It's rather the presence of the priest and the undertaking of acts associated with good, the aspersion with holy water, anointing with the holy unction oil, and the fact that the cross or the priest's stole are placed on the head of the possessed. That ensures the expulsion of the evil spirit. In this two-way relationship between priest and patient, the supernatural, which might appear to be obsolete, continues to represent the hope of physical and psychological well-being, as well as the amoral and non-religious salvations. And in the views of the priests, Philotheos, who cured Theodora, they were developed along the same line as the medical discourse, offering a diagnosis, finding a precise causal explanation for her sufferings. Quote, "It's difficult for us to understand the moment at which the devil enters a person. He manifests himself as light illness, gradually worsening, remaining undefinable. At this point, no doctor can offer a diagnosis, and then it becomes apparent that there is a power in the person's body inciting him to commit destructive acts. It's possible, in fact, that the evil spirits are gradually multiplying, and thus that their presence is becoming more intense. And there are people that have been possessed by 2 or 3 whole legions of evil spirits. They take over a person's entire body, the blood, vertebrae, arteries, joints, eyes, nails, and hair. Likewise, every nervous illness may be the work of the evil one. It's him who acts on the nerves and arteries. And as we say in the prayers we recite to grant wishes in our church, he devours the soul day after day. Certain patients have sensitive systems that are unable to make the slightest protest, and they remain motionless, refusing to take the initiative. And we have read many of these instances in the New Testament, and the miracles performed by our Lord Jesus Christ, and how he expelled the demons. And this is just one of the recent examples that took place in the year 2000. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.